All right, welcome back. Thank you so much for staying with us on The Full View. The Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture presented his budget to the Parliamentary Portfolio. And to help us get some clarity on this and other issues, we have Deputy Minister of Sport, Arts, Culture and Recreation, Ms. Nocawe Mafu. A very good evening to you, ma'am. Welcome to Sport on Full View.
Yes, good evening, Koli, and good evening to the viewers at home. Just to apologize that I am on load shedding, so the picture is not going to look good, so I've switched off the video.
Thank you so much for making time despite the load shedding. Well, the Minister Mthethwa, came under fire this afternoon about the spending patterns of the South African Football Association. We know that 20.8 million was given to the NEC, which means that the 40 NEC members were given about 520,000 rands each. A lot of people are questioning the timing of these bonuses that were paid, and especially because we know that SAFA was also not able to meet some of its financial obligations. So just in terms of the matters of the accusations which were made by buying votes from the Democratic Alliance, where do you stand as the ministry?
Look, Koli, we take those allegations very seriously, but also what we need to remember as South Africans is that federations have, they do have a liberty of actually managing their own affairs. What then happens is that when issues like those come to the fore, the minister then would request a report from that said federation, in this instance, SAFA. So SAFA must furnish the ministry with those response, and then based on what we receive from the federation, we then might decide that we do an investigation, or we're not happy, we need more answers. But remember, federations have got some liberty of independence. The department and the ministry does not manage them, 100% all the time, except when there is an issue that we need to intervene.
Absolutely, because they need to show some sort of accountability. Also this week, we saw cricket being in the headlines for the wrong reasons when the head coach of the cricket men's team, Mark Boucher, was cleared of any wrongdoing, and that was due to lack of witnesses. Now, as the ministry, who in fact supported the creation of the SJN hearings, what is your take on these issues, as some feel that these hearings have taken the plight of black cricketers back decades, as many were scared maybe to report unfair treatment out of fear of being attention seekers maybe, and people who can't back up their claims?
Look, Cody, one of the things that is very important to us is the transformation of sport.
Yeah.
And because of that, you would have been aware that around the issue of cricket, Minister had intervened. One of these interviews came about because of the intervention that was made by the ministry around the issue of cricket. So we are watching with bated interest what is happening around that space. But we are waiting for a full report to be given to the ministry so that we can then decide on the next step to do. Until such time, we have not been given the final report on these issues as yet.
Sure. And Deputy Minister, what we do know is that resources are a scarce commodity in our country. We saw those ridiculous amounts of money which were being wasted in the Queenstown area where a stadium was supposedly built. How is the department's plan of action to take and tackle corruption in tender processes for a department which lacks major financial resources like sport?
Yeah, very important question, Colin, because the Department of Sport, Arts and Culture is one of those departments that get the least budget. But in relation to what has happened in Queenstown on that sport facility that in Inokum that had cost about 15 million. Now, we need to explain to the public that the national department, what it does in the issue of managing infrastructure, particularly grounds and sports, there is a grant called Municipal Infrastructure Grant, which is then managed by the Culture Department through municipalities. So those grounds are built by the municipalities themselves through the municipal infrastructure grant. But then, because the money comes from the national department through that grant, what then happens is that the report would need to come both from the province and COCTA, which is the department that manages municipalities, and then comes to us. Because it is not us as the national department that actually builds infrastructure at the municipal level.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Deputy Minister of Sport, Arts, Culture and Recreation, Ms. Nocawe Mafu, just giving insights on the budget speech that was delivered this afternoon.